Hello, Speed Gaming 4. Welcome to the start of week 3 of ALTTPR League, featuring almost 80 keys. The mode where Castle Tower isn't required, but GT Big Key is on pedestal, just to make sure you do all the pendant dungeons. And other than that, it plays like an open key sanity. Uh, so we've got Maniacal of Bottles on Empty against Trey Spire of Upsal Foxes. Both teams 1-3, looking to get their second win tonight. We'll see who's able to pull it off. Should be a good one. I'm Drossi here with my friend Blue Link. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I am excited for some Key Sanity. This is the first Key Sanity mode week, and hopefully things will be exciting and confusing, but not too confusing.
Yeah, based on what I've seen, this tends to run a little bit faster than regular AD keys because you're not looking for the CT smalls generally. And people's main gripe is the seeds in which you have to do GT basement for something necessary for a pendant dungeon. But there are plenty of seeds where that doesn't happen, and then you just get to go mode GT altogether. So we'll see which sort of seed this one winds up being.
And it looks like our countdown has started. We are about to be underway.
And yes, have to remember, no starting sword, no starting boots after a week of Kaz boots. It's good to remind of these things. The runners take different starts and both come up with a big 20 anyway. Trey is an uncle router. And Tier 1 tree pull today is Hearts. Maniacal, I imagine, is about to find that out too. Bush Crab is giving out big 20s, though, so that's a nice way to farm money.
Oh, very useful early on, of course.
Uncle's got an Ice Palace small, not something particularly exciting. Ooh, but Uncle Chest has 300. That is kind of nice.
That'll make Zora money early on very easy if we want to do that. We have just a piece of heart on Lumberjack Ledge, so Aga will not be required for that at least.
Right, still may be required for Dark World access, and we may have to dip the tower because there are 2 chests in there that can contain just about anything. Yeah, Maniacal doing a nice job farming that money from the bush crab, so if he does go to Uncle, he'll be set. And there's the sewer key, so that actually puts the front of escape in logic, unbeknownst to Trey. The game, of course, assumes if you don't have the sewer key that you're stealing. Oh! Trey, not knowing that it's in logic, isn't going any deeper. Interesting, because the game assumes that you steal that guard's key and go to the back, because it doesn't want to assume that you use that key and continue.
And he did pick up 3 bombs out of the chest there. He could have done it if he really wanted to.
Yeah, I guess 3 bombs isn't the best way to continue down there. Probably want a weapon. Speaking of bombs, Maniacal gets one of the 50-50 bombs under the bush. And there's powder and some more bombs in Saha's closet. And hey, vanilla green pendant today.
Yeah, talking to Saha to find out where that green pendant is, something we haven't seen in the past couple of weeks because we can just check with a map check. Can't do that anymore.
And it looks like there's a big key on library, so it'll be interesting to see when we get those boots. Interesting. Trey is dipping eastern.
Fascinating. I
Yeah,
wonder if something interesting will come up here.
given his lack of weapons, it seems like kind of unusual play. Ice Palace Big Key. Okay, this is weird. We've gotten an Ice Palace Small and an Ice Palace Big. Nothing else that's really gonna help us do Ice Palace. Still need, the Mitts and the Moon Pearl and either Fire Rod or Bombos. Hammer. Oh, well, there's
Speaking of
Hammer.
hammer,
That'll put Maniacal in a good position because now he's got an all-purpose weapon.
oh boy, a flute there in Eastern.
Well, that'll
That's
help.
actually going to be very good for Trey, especially once he gets the hammer from Cat because he has the powder to do Magic Bat right away.
Yeah, and also a really nice way to get around the map in general.
Okay, our first bottle and Cane of Burna in the well.
Yeah, you like getting a bottle in CAC so that you can then just, go over to Sick Kid. And looks like Maniacal is selling that bee to the bottle vendor to get a refund of what he spent on the hammer.
Okay, so he just traded a good bee for a hammer. That seems like a really good deal.
I'd do that all day long. GT Small.
Well, we are gonna... Or, no, we actually may not need those. Not many of them, at least.
I mean, it's nice to have at least one.
Of course.
And meanwhile, Trey got a Skullwood Small, which we don't really need, but logically Mothula is behind all three Skullwood Smalls. Meyer, Big, and Book in Blindside. Don't think you really want to rush Desert right now.
Yeah, no boots and no fire, and no keys.
And the last check that we can get in Eastern was just the TR map. So now Maniacal with the hammer, I fully expect him to do the entire front of Escape. He's also going to be rolling in dough shortly.
But that flute out of Eastern at this point is a huge find.
Yeah. Yeah, just for getting around the map quickly, especially since we don't have boots yet.
He is 9 rupees off 4 digits, and we're just about 7 minutes into the siege.
Trey also seeing that Lumberjack is nothing today. See, that's actually a nice relief in this mode because it means you might not actually have to do Aga. I wonder what Trey thinks of that castle key. I'm very curious to see if that key is leading us to anything. And for that matter, if Maniacal goes to the back out of logic. Because the back, of course, still requires a fire source.
I doubt our runners are going to let anything like a dark room stop them, especially when Maniacal has that key.
Ooh, Harris Small, not exactly what you want to see. Because now you have to think about whether you want to do the basement.
It's one of those keys that gives you anxiety, and it's not even relevant at this current time.
But someday we will be on the mountain. And someday we will have a fire source. And then we will have to think. Okay, so Maniacal giving us our first look at the South Shore checks. And it looks like with that book, he is putting off Dam because he wants to do Dam into Desert. Little does he know the flute is sitting there in Eastern Palace.
Now, our first of 6 pod smalls. We also got blue mail.
Yeah, once you get up to about 3 pod smalls, you think of maybe going in there if you have Dark World access by that point. Also, shout out to Maniacal's teammate Maximum Barnage doing the tracking tonight.
We're getting a look at Ice Rod Cave here from Maniacal.
That's junk, so he may be funneled to Eastern now. Unless he's going to Desert. Basically, Eastern and Desert are his only choices. This looks like Desert.
Interesting. We'll have to see if this pays out. Because that flute does give us mountain access, but there isn't really anything we can do up there other than just checking Spec Rock and getting the old man out of logic.
Yeah, it's always weird when you have mountain access but don't have a mirror or hookshot to actually go anywhere. And hey, we're gonna get that magic bat check from Trey that you were talking about. Just even more money from Magic Bat, so Trey is very nearly in quadruple digits as well.
Just 10 wet arrows in the dam, or drowned there in the pond, whatever we call it.
I know what you're getting at.
And the long trek to check Desert Ledge without the boots.
Oh, Fire Rod, okay, so that puts back of escape in logic.
Do you think that's where he's going to go next after checking Agina?
If I had to guess, yes. I mean, Eastern is still a bit limited, and following the breadcrumbs, that is 4 checks, Starcross plus 3 in the back.
And it looks like Trey is entering Desert right behind him, having just seen that fire rod.
Yeah, so we got a bit of convergence. Trey a bit better situated, thanks to Oh, there's our first sword in desert. That's nice. Thanks to the flute, whereas Maniacal just turned up a whole lot of junk doing South Shore.
Mystery small key there on the desert torch.
Would be funny if it were vanilla. And now presumably route around and check a Gina while you're in the area.
Just making sure it works.
Yes, it's all charged up. Ooh! What are those?
Wow. Too bad we just left desert.
Yeah, probably both of these runners are going to be wishing they checked Agena on the way into desert rather than on the way out. Oh, right, and yeah, there was that small key on the torch, wasn't there?
Is Trey gonna go back, or is he just walking out to go back to South Shore?
I think it would be faster from Link's house to South Shore, so this might be... Yeah, he's going back in. Let's see if the key's anything. I mean, if it is a vanilla key, that's 2 more checks. Definitely nice that we got that sword in desert. It makes it a lot easier to see in here. And hey, there's the moon pearl.
That's very nice to have right now. We are now just a glove away from Dark World access and not having to visit Aga 1.
TR small, we will probably need that.
Yeah.
That said, I have to imagine, since Maniacal's going to have to beat Desert at some point, he'll go back there for it, and TR isn't exactly something we're going to be doing soon regardless.
So Maniacal has reached the back of Escape. Trey is going to check Bonk Rocks.
There's another TR small, Quake and Hookshot. Put the Hookshot and the Flute together, and we're in business. Trey's gonna get that big key from the library, though. I imagine at this point there's a glove on the mountain.
Okay, that's 2 Turtle Rock smells and the big key in quick succession.
Yeah, it's interesting because we still need Mitz and Samaria to get into TR.
It is interesting. It feels like the seed is telling you something, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, unless both Gloves and Samaria are all sitting on the mountain. Okay, now what for Maniacal? Because I think he may finally have to do Eastern.
Yeah, looks like that is the direction he's heading. Maybe gonna check Hylia Island first.
Sure, why not? Just a big 20. Trey getting bodied by the cabbages there. He still hasn't gotten any extra health. He's still on 3 hearts.
And green mail, for that matter. Not
Yeah.
that matters for the cabbages.
5 hearts blue mail against 3 hearts green mail. Just a little bit of a health difference. And another small key in Spec Rock. Watch this be the third Turtle Rock small.
So after this, Trey doesn't have much else he can do, does he? Whoa, the desert small?
Oh, interesting. So that would probably get Maniacal back to Desert in a hurry to get his second TR small. Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, Trey fluting to 6, so he's going back to Desert. It's interesting he hasn't followed the Fire Rod plus Sewers key yet to do Escape. Which we know will get him Moon Pearl and a Hookshot.
He's going to end up funneled there pretty soon, I would think. Unless something interesting turns up here that could take him off the path.
Following the breadcrumbs in a key sanity seed is always interesting. Eastern big, but we don't actually have a bow, so that just gets us the big chest.
Oh, half magic is really nice to have.
Yeah, especially with that fire rod. Michael might save some time if he nopes out after Compass Chest here. Because he doesn't have the big key, and the big key chest is not in logic without the lamp. But yeah, Trey's still putting off Escape. He's doing the South Shore checks. And Maniacal is gonna go around to what we know is junk in the vanilla big key chest of Eastern. I mean, we're in a good vantage point. I can't blame the runners for what they're doing. We just know that they're not doing what they need to be doing.
I think it'd be a little bit funny if Trey decided to go for a water walk after going to Ice Rod Cave.
Hey, you never know. He's got all that money burning a hole in his pocket. Now we're at least even up on the health front.
Alright, so Maniacal's going to activate that flute and then head right up the mountain, I would think. Unless he wants to check Magic Bat first.
I think he'll check Magic Bat since he'll be in CAC anyway. I'm really curious who's gonna put the pieces of the puzzle together first. We're certainly seeing world tours from both of them. And hey, you were right. Trey is gonna water walk here.
It definitely makes sense to do this while you're here. Do you think he knows now that the answer is in Escape?
I mean, this stuff is all out of logic. He must realize that Escape is the only thing he has left in logic. Though he got a vanilla red meringue in the waterfall cave.
That's exciting.
And the fairy's giving out red goo today, so that's not a bad deal either. And hello, Samaria on Zora Ledge. I guess we won't be going into Turtle Rock anytime soon.
Do we have the means to splash delete with our current equipment set?
I don't think so. I think you need like a bow or Samaria. I don't think you can do it with just a boomerang and bombs.
Well, Trey seems to agree. But that is very good knowledge to have for sure.
Oh, definitely. I expect he'll beeline back there when he gets the flippers, wherever they may be.
So he's going to take this all the way to the camper, I think, and then he has to go to escape, right? There isn't anything left, is there?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Maniacal is going to be probably heading to the right side of the mountain soon, as soon as he's done with the 2 checks over here.
And Hobo has the Ice Palace map. So we've been getting all this stuff for Ice. We've been getting all this stuff for TR. We still are nowhere near having the means to actually do either of them. I kind of expect Mitts and the Flippers to show up soon. Ooh, Maniacal's trying to hover. He's a pretty good hover. I'd give him about 80% chance of success. And there we go.
Well done. And back he goes. Flawlessly done.
Yeah, definitely a good time save if you can do it.
So Maniacal is getting some new checks here. Trey is just catching up doing escape, so he'll be a couple minutes behind, but he has done some extra checks and gotten that very important Samaria information from the Zora Ledge. Well, that is a glove, and that is Dark World access.
There we go. So, things opening up. The Seed really did want us to go to the mountain with the hook shot. I still expect Mitts and Flippers to show up soon. As we get the Thieves big. And our second pod small. And Master Sword.
Very nice.
So that's kind of interesting. We can do all of Thieves except the big chest now.
Okay, this is good for Trey. He is setting up a death warp so that he can go to the back as soon as he's done here.
Meanwhile, in Hera, with the hookshot to Hera pot, we have access to everything except the big chest. And yes, that does include the basement, but I think this is an ether check first. Remind me what was on the right side of Desert besides Half Magic?
The Eastern Big.
Ah, thank you. I remembered it was some sort of key. And here's our Hera pot. Moldorm out of logic, but we're here, so might as well just beat him. And Trey finds a true Seattle rat in the basement. In the sewers, rather.
Okay, so we found a map of Swamp to go with our map collection. Alright, Maniacal versus Moldorm.
Now, I expect Maniacal to do Spiral Cave rather than Spike Cave, but both are in logic. And Hera's a pendant.
I think his bottle is empty, and he does have Burna, but well, yeah, he could do Spike Cave if he wanted to, but you're
Well,
right. I don't think he will.
he now has two bottles. They're both empty. That's why they're bottles on empty.
Oh, that's really meta of him. Well done.
And yeah, I think given the early Harris Small, you do kind of have to check the basement.
All right, Maniacal counting his hearts correctly, setting up that Death Warp.
Good idea. And that gives us another pod small, so not a bad thing to have done. We don't have a bow for pod, but didn't we see 3 pod smalls? Oh, and it looks like Maniacal is doing Spike Cave rather than Spiral Cave.
Interesting.
Yeah, this
I'm
is
not sure what to make of this.
kind of unusual. We'll see if it pays off. And, he's probably gonna wish he had that half magic out of Desert when he sees it. Spike Cave was not the play.
So we have Dark World access. Where do you start?
You start by buying potions so that your bottles are no longer on empty.
Yeah, like you said, all that money burning holes in our pockets. Look at that,
he's put it to good
downing the
use.
blue potion. Oh no, he drank the green, didn't he?
Yeah, to refill the magic he used in Spike Cave.
Okay, I thought he was just being extravagant.
Okay, so this is a reasonable place. Skull Woods is clearable. Thieves Town is clearable, though we'd have to orphan Big Chest.
Moldrum not playing nice with Trey.
I wonder if it would be quite something if Sculler Thieves has the third pendant, and then we're just bow away from being able to get a really early GT Big Key.
Oh yeah, notably, yeah, Hera was a vanilla red pendant.
And Eastern is a vanilla green pendant, which makes me wonder what Desert is. That's our second GT small. Don't really need to get more, but the game wants us to have them. I mean, logically, you're supposed to have all 4 to climb the tower. Or rather, to climb the tower completely. So I wonder at what point you start thinking pod. Like 3 pod smalls even without the big, even without the bow, starts to get a bit tempting.
Yeah, three keys gets you to the back at least, right?
Yeah, I mean, it lets you unlock the middle door and do everything except for Harmless Hellway and the vanilla big key chest.
Oh, Trey's going for Spike Cave as well.
Wow, Spiral just getting no respect today.
It's not like we don't have the boots or anything.
Yeah, boots and hookshot Spiral's pretty pleasant. Maniacal really getting bodied there by Moth, though. Moth just not wanting to play nice.
Wisely making use of that potion before he gets in trouble. And just going to town with the fire rod, that's entirely valid.
Moth's got to be getting close to going down here. There we go. Jeez. Almost
Well
needed to use
done.
his other blue. And that is our first crystal of the game.
Looks like Trey is also heading into Skullwoods.
Yeah. So I guess the main difference between these runners at this point is just that Trey's done 3 extra checks in the front of Desert that Maniacal hasn't.
We have someone in chat asking where Half Magic was. It was on the right-hand side of Desert.
Oh yay, a shield in the front, which Trey expresses his displeasure with.
Wow, look at that sink all of a sudden. Oh, there's a bow. Well, now you probably do want to go to pod.
Yeah, and Eastern for that matter. Well, at least if you're Trey. Maniacal still needs to go back to Desert, and there's our 4th pod small, too.
Very convenient. Well, Trey's going to appreciate having that before fighting Moth.
Yeah. Tempered in Half Magic, he's going to have a much easier Moth fight than Maniacal. And I imagine Maniacal's now going to go to Village of Outcasts. He can't really do any of the north side checks. He doesn't have Mirror or Cape.
Trey is continuing to head to the back of Skull Woods. Maniacal finding a 5th pod small. So
Okay.
if you do a hammer jump, you don't even need the 6th one.
Right. Right. We can now full clear the dungeon, except that we don't have the big key.
Yeah, the last missing piece of the puzzle.
Well, what do you know? Vanilla 300 in the brewery.
That's our third GT small already.
I mean, sure, they have to be somewhere, but it is kind of funny that they keep popping up already. And let's see how Trey's moth fight goes. Wow, that's an interesting palette swap there. Moth has lost all sense of color. And down goes Moth for Trey.
And that is his first crystal. Alright, Maniacal is into the attic of Thieves Town.
Ooh, Trey is saving and quitting, so where's he off to? Is this going to be like a hype cave play? Ah, no, this is a pod play. Or Eastern. I guess Eastern for him because he can now finish it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And not having the mirror, of course, it's faster to leave and come to the Dark World portal rather than saving and quitting all over again.
Yeah, so Maniacal will definitely need to hit Desert sometime soon. But he doesn't know that. He's probably waiting for the big key.
Notably, Trey did not pick up that fifth pod small before heading over here.
Right, because that was in Village. Oh.
Okay, so the seed
game.
is really telling us to go to pod. Maybe the big key will just be in pod.
At this rate, it wouldn't surprise me. To answer chat, we do not yet know where Desert Big is. So honestly, that and Pod Big are the only big keys we really still need.
Yeah, math checks out. And that is blind down for just 20 rupees. Maniacal's second crystal.
We don't actually know which ones are the 5-6 yet. We haven't talked to the bomb vendor. Would be funny if Maniacal walks in there and the red bomb's already sitting there.
I've seen that happen once before.
It looks like he's doing the standard loop around here, so we'll do Stumpy and then Hype Cave after the dig game, and then probably wind up at Pod. Maybe with a detour to Pyramid. And Armos Knights does give us our green pendant. You're going to want to turn that into Saha immediately. Hey, and there's... Which number TR small is that? 2 for Maniacal because he hasn't gotten the one in Desert yet?
That sounds right. So I think that's the third one overall. Well, we know Saha does not have vanilla boots for us, because his buddy Agina borrowed them.
Okay, so the only thing all that Eastern stuff got us was a pendant that will eventually let us pull Ped for the GT Big Key.
Maniacal just running past the bomb shop there. I guess that's not
He'll
terribly
probably do it
important.
after Hype Cave.
Oh, yeah, of course, because if he's going to head east to Pod, that would make sense.
Ooh, silvers. We'll take those.
Okay, that's an automatic at least 4 out of 10 Hype Cave.
And I think we've seen all the Meyer smalls by now. I'm not entirely sure.
I think that is the second. I don't recall where the third one would have turned up.
Oh, there was one in Eastern Big Chest, but I don't. And I feel like there was one before. Oh no, that was. I guess that was just Trey's first. Oh, and Maniacal is not checking the bomb shop. Okay, that's a little bit surprising, just because, for all we know, you've done the 5/6 crystals. And then you could combo Pyramid Fairy here. So... Oh, that was a map check. It looked like a regular crystal at Turtle Rock and a 5/6 at Swamp.
That agrees with what I saw, but I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I just caught it on the second go-round. So, okay. We know one of the 5/6s, and it's Swamp, so we're not going to be doing it for a while. Still need Flippers, Mirror, and Swamp Small.
Oh boy, a mushroom.
Interesting choice for Trey to do that check with only 4 smalls. I guess
Right, this means he would have to...
Hellway.
Yeah. He'd have to skip one of this or Harmless Hellway. That's interesting, though. Usually you see people not do that.
Yeah, most people would prefer Harmless Hellway over Vanilla Big Key. And there's bottle number 3. So, apart from the mushroom, we haven't really seen anything in Pod yet.
Well, a couple more checks before we go into Dark Maze.
GT map that is 100% useless.
Well, at least we can confirm that GT is neither a pendant nor crystal.
And if you get lost in the basement, well, good luck to you. You're still not going to be helped by that map particularly. Desert map is mildly interesting, though. Oh yeah, we don't actually have the lamp, so Dark Maze is still out of logic. But it is home to Bombos. We don't know the Meyer and TR entry requirements yet, so we may need that.
Alright, Trey is fluting away to turn in that mushroom right away.
Makes sense. We've already checked magic that. Don't need to worry about fake powder.
Just 10 arrows there in Harmless Hellway, so Trey does not need to worry about that. Of course, he doesn't know that. Oh boy, mitts on mushroom.
Yeah, I was just about to say, so where is the seed trying to get us? But I think that's the answer to that question. Oh, and we could, if we wanted, at this point, splash delete to get that Samaria. Of course, Maniacal doesn't yet know about the Samaria, but if Trey wanted to, he could do it. Ice Palace is kind of an interesting possibility.
Yeah, I believe we have all of the keys. Oh, look, there are the flippers. So
Okay.
go to ice.
Yeah, so this is definitely, putting the pieces together. Michael just had to burn a potion just to make it through the dark maze.
Try collecting that Samaria first. A wise choice, I think.
Yeah. And I think since Maniacal hasn't done the flippers checks yet, he'll probably be brought in this direction once he gets them. Assuming he goes to King's Tomb as soon as he gets the mitts. Which is kind of right there. So Meyer area also becomes a possibility, and again, we have the big key. We can beat it as long as it's not ether.
Oh no, he's fluting away.
Ooh. He wants
Back up
to
the
do
mountain
that.
with those mitts. That is a completely reasonable play, but just unfortunate because of knowing what we know.
Yeah, doubly unfortunate since we know that there's a third TR small in desert. And Trey is doing that Ice Palace play, which is completely in logic. But without the mirror, Maniacal's still going to be abandoning Spiral Cave.
Unless he goes for it right now?
Jeez, okay then.
Interesting.
Sure, multiple climbs. Because you're going to want to use TR Portal as the thing, so then you have to climb up again. Well, actually, he can't go into TR. He hasn't gotten the flippers to get the cane. He hasn't even seen the cane.
I mean, he can go in the front door and look around.
I hear it's lovely in there.
Yeah, dark, dank. I wonder what the echoes are like in there.
You wonder what?
I wonder what the echoes are like in there.
Oh. And that long hallway with a bottomless pit, probably pretty good. Are all the pits canonically bottomless, by the way?
Good question. So we just saw the cape turn up there in ice. We have not had a look at Bumper Ledge yet.
Kind of wonder if Mirror's on the mountain here. Mirror seems like the next big item we need to get. Oh!
Lovely!
Surprise.
The one we don't have.
Yeah, was not expecting that given all the Turtle Rock stuff the game's been throwing at us.
So you definitely called that mirror. Good work.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of felt it, and that should get Maniacal back on track because now he can like do the whole North Dark World stuff. That'll get him his flippers. That should get him Samaria. Then he can combo Meyer with the rest of the front of Desert.
Interestingly, we just saw the second and third Skull Woods keys, one of them in Ice Tea and the other one in Hookshot Cave.
Well, now Moth's in Logic. Isn't that great?
Is this going to be a Smith Chain, perhaps, and North Dark World checks?
Yeah, we'll see which one. I guess Smith Chain first.
And Troy going to town on Cold Stare with that fire rod. Very nicely done. And so that is a heart container and 3 pieces of heart in Ice Palace. And another crystal.
Which puts him up in 1 dungeon on net. He still hasn't been into Thieves. Maniacal, of course, still can't do Eastern. So yeah, I get why Maniacal's doing this play. It's 5 checks against 3. Because you have Smiths in Purple Chest, Hammer Pegs, K45, and Bombos.
I wonder, if he's there, does he continue into Desert because of that small key? Or no, he would just go to the Meyer area at that point, and he could just
Well, he
mirror
doesn't have the
each
mitts yet.
Oh, that... No, wait.
Wait, no, he does have the mitts.
He does, he does.
Sorry, it's not on his tracker. He does have the mitts. Right, he just hasn't followed the mitts to King's Tomb. My bad. So to answer chat, Mirror is in Hookshot Cave, Samaria is on Zora Ledge.
Trey is doing the same thing, going down Spiral Cave to climb the mountain again.
We will have to ask them in the interview what their deal is with Spiral Cave.
Perhaps if you do Spike Cave, you think your opponent probably did Spiral Cave, and speaking of... Actually, it's completely unrelated, but Ether just turned up in Cave 45.
Yeah, well...
So it's just like a bit of a chain of key under the doormat, because the mirror was right there in Hookshot Cave.
Right. Yeah, Maniacal, I guess by force of habit, was doing Stumpy, and then is like, oh yeah, I already did that. But yeah, what's he gonna do next? We know where Samaria is, he doesn't. And Smith Chain has only gotten us that Ether, which we will eventually need. Trey discovering he can't get into TR, even with Samaria.
All right, Maniacal, where to the Meyer area? Oh yeah, we were just discussing that, weren't we?
Right. Unfortunately, if he dips Meyer, it's going to mean a double dip.
And dipping Meyer is a lot more enticing in Key Sanity. There are 7 checks, or yeah, we have the big key. 7 checks we can get to instead of just 2 items.
And there's Trey's mirror. And another small key sitting here in checkerboard. Ooh, CT small. So now that becomes an interesting play. We can get both items in Castle Tower.
That just sounds like a real pain. Alright, so
Yep.
Maniacal is going to pick up his Half Magic and Eastern Big Key.
And third Turtle Rock Small.
Ah, that too.
And it looks like Trey is going to give us our first look at Bumper Ledge and Graveyard Ledge. Just a map on Bumper Ledge. Okay, so now what's Maniacal gonna do? Oh, he's diving Mire.
Well, he could find something he needs in here. Like,
yeah,
the
it's
ice rod, is that? Or something that, like the shovel.
Pod Big Key, who knows? But, um, yeah, like, you have everything you need except for Samaria for doing Mire. Oh, and hey, Trey's gonna give us our first look at Catfish, everyone's favorite check. Just noticing, we're still surprisingly low on health for an hour in. 8 hearts for Maniacal, 9 for Trey.
Yeah, I was surprised that Trey went to go pick up that heart container in Graveyard Ledge, but then I noticed he was still on 8 hearts.
And Catfish just has a compass. Most of the problem of double dipping Mire is just that you're doing Mire 2 twice. Because, yeah, as long as Trey's not in go mode when he hits Mire, he's going to be full clearing here, so Maniacal isn't really losing any time by coming this way.
Hey, Trey actually getting some value out of that shield.
Yeah, I was thinking that. He showed it no respect when he picked it up, but he's still using it. And he's got his silvers too now.
And cutscene chest coming up from Maniacal. We have Disappointment.
We've been having a lot of that.
Well, that's rando for you. There was a... Oh no, we've already seen there was a crystal at Thieves Town on Maniacal
Yeah.
Signs. That's
Well, now
not...
we know it's not a 5-6.
That is important, yes. Of course, he could have just stopped at the bomb shop right there.
Bomb Vendor gets no respect, just like Spiral Cave gets no respect.
The completely useless second Castle Tower key just showed up in Mire, by the way.
Interesting. I wonder if Maniacal will swing by Castle Tower. It's still... The second check is still technically out of logic. Ooh, there's the Pod Big, so I imagine Maniacal is gonna clear up Pod and Eastern after this.
Yep, and this time he has the mirror to combo them, and we just found the lamp, finally.
Okay, things in logic! Including Castle Tower. Meanwhile, Trey has picked up his ether. It's kind of funny how the other 2 medallions wound up being completely worthless. So I guess Trey's gonna do Smith Chain here.
Actually, he hasn't touched the Village of Outcasts
Oh,
area at all, has
right.
he?
He still needs to do thieves. I'm guessing he was reluctant without the thieves small, but we still haven't seen it. Oh, heads up play by Maniacal, knowing that he bonking that tree gave a fairy. I had no idea that was a fairy from bonking.
Huh? You learn something every day.
So Maniacal going to pod Big Chest first, and then he'll just mirror out, and then he'll go to the boss. Oh, Trey is avoiding Thieves Town and delivering the purple chest. Okay.
You know, I don't disagree with that. And Argus's front door key was in the pod big chest. That is very
Yeah.
required.
So once Maniacal finally gets those flippers out of King's Tomb, we're rapidly approaching the end game here. We just need, between these two runners, Desert Big and Ice Rod.
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
And here is Trey into the mire area. This will no doubt be a full clear. I love how you check the medallion even when you have all three of them.
It's muscle memory. It's powerful stuff.
We still don't actually know what our third pendant is. Oh, or...
The tracker is showing its desert. I don't
Oh.
recall seeing that map check, but it could just be by the process of elimination here.
It could also be that there was a P when Maniacal went in. I didn't notice.
That is also entirely possible.
Our tracker.
Yeah, our trackers are infallible. They are never wrong. They just like to test us sometimes. And that is Helma down for Maniacal, and he is rewarded with bottle number 4 and Crystal.
It's not even on empty.
Maybe it's a typo. Maybe it's bottles unempty.
Ooh, nice Bernadash there. So now the question is, what will Maniacal do after he's done with Eastern? Gray, I imagine, will go back to Pod after Meyer because he'll have the big key.
That makes sense. Maniacal still has his portal outside the front door of Eastern. He could just walk to the pyramid and mirror to Castle Tower.
Geez, that Igor not behaving. And Maniacal having some quick swap issues.
Well, if the boomerang doesn't work, just smack it with your sword. To answer chat, Kane of Samaria was on Zora Ledge, and the flippers are in King's Tomb. Maniacal has not been over there yet.
Sure gonna be a nice fast Armos fight for him, though. Now, the thing is, since Flippers will get Maniacal Swamp, I feel like he'll do Swamp before he goes to Zora area, and then the question is he gonna do Ice without Samaria?
That is a good question. Yeah, the allure of a dungeon full of items is really tempting.
But routing Ice without Samaria is really annoying. Ever since Icebreaker was legalized.
I would just like to comment, Maniacal, I did see you swinging your sword in time with the boss music at the intro. I appreciate that.
Maniacal going back to Cat Portal. So this could be his scouting Bumper Ledge and then doing Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb, and he will get his flippers. And then the question is, what will he do with his flippers? Trey's still not liking those shields.
I think the seed is going to punish him with the mirror shield. Just wait.
I mean, AD keys, you generally wind up getting most things.
No, Maniacal agrees that 8 hearts is not enough for this point in the seed.
Hey, Trey is actually at 10 now. So they're Maniacal's flippers.
He is walking out, and going back to the Dark World. Does he take this to Catfish Zora?
I have to imagine so. Why else would you walk out of here?
So this is going to be very good for him. He will get Samaria, and so where are we at? He is down an Ice and Mire clear, but up a Pod clear, but Pod's mostly done by Trey already.
And Thieves, don't forget Thieves.
Oh, and Thieves, yes.
So we're even on the dungeon count.
And yes, that map check confirming it is indeed a vanilla blue pendant, so our entire light world is vanilla pendants.
The odds of all 3 pendants being vanilla is 1 in 720.
Math checks out. That is 1 over 10 times 1 over 9 times 1 over 8, yes.
You gotta play a lot of seeds before you expect to see that. And now Maniacal finally sees that Cane of Samaria.
Oh hey, look at Trey's rupee count. I think there's like a joke there or something.
He's clearly elite runner. Maniacal debates whether he wants the 300 refund.
It's almost 2 blue potions. Okay, Trey's going to Helma first. If if he doesn't come back for that small,
Yeah,
that could
that
be
would be
huge.
bad. Because he still hasn't touched thieves. So there are other things he can do. Heck, he can go into Turtle Rock. But what he needs to do is go back into Pod.
Did he actually not find the 5th or 6th pod small in his whole adventures in Village of Outcasts? I forget where they were.
Uh, one might have been in Thieves, so. I don't know. He's sitting on one small that he's about to spend.
I think the other was in Chest Game, maybe? I don't think he did that.
Blind Cell, chat's saying, so yeah. It was in Thieves.
Because if he had that small key, he'd be more incentivized to go to the back and get Harmless Hellway as well. But this is interesting.
And meanwhile, Maniacal gonna breeze through ice here. Breeze through Swamp probably is his next play. Clean up Mire. So that'll get him 8 dungeons. Trey can do Thieves, which would be his 7th, but he's gonna need that Swamp Small.
Very nice icebreaker from Maniacal. And we are about to see a very important moment in the progression of this race here.
Yeah, there was an open league race this morning. Yoshi versus Ticknaldo, 2 very good runners, and Yoshi did not fully clear pod. He was ahead, did not fully clear pod. Quake was sitting in the back, and that was a required medallion. And it cost him the race. And Trey, did he just realize that he... No.
Is going to Castle Tower now?
Oh, no. I mean, this is bad for Trey. This is definitely bad. This is echoes of the race this morning. If you want to check out that race,
terribly unfortunate.
It was on the main SpeedGaming channel at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Trying to bring you rando round the clock. Well, we'll see if Castle Tower has anything. The checks are pretty quick, at least. Go back to pod, Trey. Go back to pod.
You have to think Aga 1 is going to breathe a sigh of relief when he mirrors out of here.
Wow, and Castle Tower was true junk.
So where to now? Do you go to Thieves?
Looks it. I don't think he has anything else in this area that he hasn't done. Oh, very nice cold stare kill by Maniacal.
Brilliantly smooth.
As he gets his 10th heart.
Yeah, but now Trey's on 11.
Are all the hearts just sitting in GT or something? Or maybe Turtle Rock?
Nicely timed map of Ice Palace there for Maniacal.
Yeah, and is this going to be a flute to 4 or a flute to 6? 4. He's probably hoping for Desert Big so that he can also knock off Desert when he goes back to finish Mire.
That's a good point.
Though
But
for all we know,
also-
Oh, sorry. What were you
Oh
saying?
yeah, I think you were about to say the same thing. It's entirely possible for that Desert Big to be in GT Basement.
Yup. So I guess the thing with Trey is... Oh, there's the Desert Big. Okay. Well,
Well
that made
then.
Maniacal's life easy.
So Ice Rod Go mode now.
You mean we're in an ice rod hunt? I've never seen one of those.
Funny how this keeps happening. Oh look, a shovel.
Season 7 of League will be entirely true ice rod hunt. We'll just get that out of the way now. Nice specky clip by Maniacal. So yeah, it's amazing how quickly these races can turn, because until Trey noped out of pot, if anything, he had a small lead just because he's not going to have to double dip Mire. But Maniacal definitely has the edge now.
Yeah, that is for sure. And we have seen a lot of overworld checks. There aren't many places that Ice Rod could be. And that's TR's fourth and final small key.
Hey, and Maniacal's on his second row of hearts now!
Congratulations! That's the one race that really matters here. Trey finishing off blind as Maniacal makes quick work of Argus's puffs.
And just to give an idea of how Maniacal's now definitely in the lead, the only thing he's behind Trey on is having to rush Vidi, which he can combo with rushing Landmo. Trey needs to do the entirety of Swamp. And Trey's got the hook shot out. He's dipping Turtle Rock. And remember, the 4th Turtle Rock small is in Swamp, so...
So, does Trey have any outs at this point? Like, where could this Ice Rod be that isn't in TR, because that's not good for him, and not behind anything we just found in Swamp?
Yeah, I don't know, because... Yeah, Maniacal's gonna finish up Swamp here. He'll do the rest of Desert and Mire, pull Ped, and then TR will be his next play, so... Yeah, I don't think Ice Rod and TR would give Trey much of an edge, because he's not going to be in go mode until he gets that Desert Big out of Swamp anyway. Trying to think if there are any overworld checks we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I'm coming up blank.
Yeah, we've gotten both tablets. We've done all the random mirror checks. Pyramid Fairy.
Oh, of course. Wait, but Swamp was the other 5/6.
Oh, right. Right. Pyramid Fairy is not out because Swamp is a 5/6. So yeah, I have a hard time seeing Trey coming back at this point. Just takes one skip being the wrong skip. And I guess backing up, it was Maniacal risking Thieves without the Thieves small, while Trey didn't, that wound up deciding this, because I'm sure that factored into Trey's decision.
Well, we just did find the butter stick in TR instead of Swamp.
And the Mirror Shield.
So those are kind of reversed. Like, there's always supposed to be a sword in Swamp, I've heard.
And the Mirror Shield, of course, its vanilla location is TR. Yeah, so here's the Mire and Desert play for Maniacal. Yeah, you go in and do Vidi first, because if Vidi is the Ice Rod, even though we know it isn't, then you can skip Desert Big. Otherwise, you do Vidi, then Land Mode, then Desert Big, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Well, if Maniacal had to do Mire 2 twice, he sure made quick work of it. To recap, yes, Maniacal is in Ice Rod Hunt mode. Trey Spire, on the other hand, needs the Swamp Small, which is in the Pod Big Chest, which he skipped. Trey just skipped Lava Chest, didn't he, because he's short a key. That would be adding insult to injury if Ice Rod is in Lava Chest.
Yeah, that 4th TR small was in Swamp, right?
Right. Well, Red Mail in Mimic Cave.
Not the worst, I guess, when you're currently on 4.5 hearts. Oh, look at that. Maniacal has finally pulled ahead in hearts of Trey for the first time since, like, very early when it was 5-3.
And finally pulled ahead in dungeon completions, too, for the first time since he, beat Thieves.
Oh, yeah, that probably matters, too. Big key to Hera? Not something you want to see right now.
I mean, I guess logically you still need the big key to Hera. But, yeah, that's gonna send Trey to check the big chest. And even if Hera Big Chest is Ice Rod, Maniacal's gonna get there just as quickly when he does TR and runs out of options otherwise.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine him not immediately going there when it's, right there. And those are Landmo's down for Maniacal. He's going to get just 20 rupees and his third pendant. That is dungeon number 9.
I mean, there are so few places left for Ice Rod to be. We're about to see Desert Big Chest.
And Trey is save scumming this key.
I get that. He doesn't know that the fourth one is just in Swamp. Skullwood's big. I guess you probably check that before going up the mountain just because it's so close to the portal.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to go pull Ped anyway, so.
Oh, good point. But no, Maniacal is... Oh, Shovel.
First.
Right. It's like, is he gonna do Pyramid Fairy all of a sudden, or... Because we know that TR isn't a 5-6, so we know Pyramid Fairy is available. Well, Shovel wasn't the answer. Now, a heck of a wild goose chase would be if Swamp Big Key is in Skullwood's big chest.
That would... Yeah, and then it could give us the Thieves Small. And then send us there.
Well, Hera Big was not the answer. So, what'll it take? Oh!
No way.
Oh boy. So, Swamp Small. So, let's see. Pod Big to Swamp Small to Desert Big to Skullwoods Big to Thieves Small.
This has been a ride, and it's not even over yet.
I mean, that's a lot of keys deep. And here is Trey finally going back to Pod. It's going to be a real feels bad moment. Maniacal's got the flute out. I mean, we just don't believe in Pyramid Fairy around here. Oh, this is probably the Pyramid Fairy play because what else is there? And I totally get, at this point of thoroughness, you don't want to go to the mountain and then have to come back down.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pyramid Fairy and Thieves' Big Chest. Like, what else is there? And there's Trey's Swamp Small, so he will be heading off to Swamp now.
There was some alternate reality where he could have gone to Swamp without the front door key just to get that first chest, and which it had the Desert Big in it, of course.
I thought the Desert Big was the second chest. Do I misremember?
I could be misremembering as well. That's entirely possible.
Well, we'll see soon enough. And Pyramid Fairy's not the answer, so now do you do... Oh, right, he hasn't been into Castle Tower yet. That makes sense. So is it Thieves' Big Chest?
I can't think of anything else. We don't have the Swamp Big.
That might actually be Trey's one out. If Maniacal doesn't do it before full clearing TR.
Wait, did I say Hera Big? I meant Swamp.
Yeah, we haven't gotten the Swamp Big key yet. Oh, you were right. Desert Big was available without the Swamp Small. And Maniacal is going to the mountain here. And he's got the hookshot out, so this is a TR play. He is not going to get the Ice Rod here.
So this is going to give some time back to Trey that he desperately needs. Chat commenting on the watercolor here in this palette, Shuffled Swamp, and I agree, that's disgusting.
I mean, Maniacal will have to know by process of elimination that it's... Well, I mean, he'll do Hera Big, and then by process of elimination, he'll have to know that it's Thieves Big, because what else is there? Of course, it could have saved both of these runners a full clear of TR, because TR had nothing.
What do you mean nothing? It had the butter stick.
I was just thinking that, well, that's something. Yeah, the good news for Maniacal is that Trey's still full clearing everything, looking for the Ice Rod. The good news for Trey is that Maniacal's still full clearing everything, looking for the Ice Rod.
Perfectly valid point. So I wonder what kind of treatment this mirror shield is going to get from Trey.
Several bombs. Only one.
Well, if you're going to do it to one, may as do it to all three. May as well do it to all three. I appreciate the consistency.
Yes, as opposed to I was calming Flip Heel's race last night, and he bombed the uh, Fisher Price shield and the mirror shield, but not the fire shield. He apologized during the interview for not bombing the fire shield. Now Trey knows about that last TR small. Suddenly, this race has become close again. We were saying we didn't know what outs Trey had, but
Yeah, he's almost at Argus here. I'm not very good at estimating how much time TR takes. How much longer do you think Maniacal's going to be in here?
yeah, it also depends whether Maniacal Portal saves.
Oh, that's
Which,
a very good point.
but for all we know, Thieves Big will just have Swamp Big, and then Portal Save is worthless because you need to use your mirror to get into Swamp. So if Thieves Big directly has the Ice Rod, a Portal Save could save quite a bit of time.
I'm trying to think if there's literally anything else to check. Like, is it just 50-50 at this point? If it's going to be the Ice Rod in the big chest or one more step in the chain?
Yeah, I think those are the only possibilities.
Alright, so Trey is going to do Pyramid Fairy. You have to think
And
he'll follow that up with
Shovel.
the shovel. And then he has to go do Desert. And after that, he needs to go to Skull to get that other key, which I've lost track of, and then also pull Ped. So this is this is tense.
I think Maniacal still has a slight edge. I forgot how many checks Trey still had left. Yeah, good call with the portal drop because then you can just flute right back to it.
Oh, that is really clever.
Okay, so Maniacal will definitely portal save for Hera uh, Big Chest because I don't know why you wouldn't portal save for that. And then I guess at that point you're just fluting to 3, so it's not like you have any reason to save and quit. But yeah, this is some seed.
That is for sure.
Okay, so Trey now will go to Desert because I don't know what else he has left.
Alright, so Maniacal doing the perfectly reasonable Hera Big Chest check.
Oh, and let's not forget that Trey does still have to pull Ped as well once he finishes Desert. Interesting choice by Trey to do Desert Big before Landmo, because if Landmo has the Ice Rod, then you save yourself having to do Desert Big. And Maniacal must know that Thieves Big is the answer.
Fluting to 3. It looks like it.
And even though he's on red mail, there are enough spikes in Thieves Town he can whittle down his life. Or else it's the Swamp Big Key and Portal Save is impossible. But yeah, this confirms that Maniacal still has the lead, though a lot smaller of a lead than we thought he had. Yeah, note that intentional hit from the Fire Snake, because that takes a full heart of damage even on red mail. I should have done a prediction as to whether this would have had the Ice Rod straight out or the Swamp Big. Too late now.
Maniacal continuing to opportunistically take some damage.
Yeah, even if the portal save doesn't pay off, Maniacal still decidedly has the lead because Trey still... And there we go. 145-10, Maniacal's in go mode. Remember to mirror. There you go. Okay. Yeah, you need to take the death outside the dungeon to be able to respawn in the light world.
No surprise fairies to spoil his fun. I believe he still has 3 blues and a green in his bottles.
I can't remember when he last stocked up. I know he's used a couple of potions in there.
So, the only key in the whole game that we haven't found is just the Swamp Big, isn't it?
It's probably in GT Basement.
And as for equipment, we've got Butterstick, we have Mirror Shield, Red Mail, Silvers, Half Magic, Powder. There's nothing we could possibly want.
Except maybe a few more hearts. Still only on 12. So yeah, Trey's gotta know that it's Thieves' big chest. Yeah, he's fluting back to 3, going back to the portal. So this is going to be his go mode, but Maniacal will already have beaten Trinex by then.
Take care of the fire and ice heads with absolutely no problems whatsoever. And that is Trinex down for crystal number 7 and dungeon number 10 for Maniacal. Oh, there it is, the Swamp Big. We have every key in the game.
Check it, you never know if there might be a piece of heart in it. That is truly amazing. Short of AGA 1, this will be a completely full tracker for both runners.
The sad thing is we're not probably going to get to see an absurdly high collection rate on the final clear screen, because we're probably opening nothing in GT.
Yeah, even upstairs, I don't know what you would get. Powder check, butter sword check, silvers check, half magic check. But for all of you who have said that this mode is awful because it forces you to double dip GT, well, this mode forced you to do everything except double dip GT.
And we were also not required to go into Castle Tower at all. I remember that being mentioned.
Right. That was another red herring.
Well, Trey is in go mode and heading up the mountain for the final time. But Maniacal is blitzing his way up Ganon's tower.
And Trey did not have a saved portal because he was here way too long ago and still had to do Swamp. So he's going to have to traverse all of TR again. Well, sure easy to make cake work of the gauntlet, of course, as soon as I say that, that red Stalfos gets away from Maniacal. There we go.
Trey reminding us that those chain chomps still hurt, even on red mail.
And Maniacal getting knocked a little off course on the Landmo fight. Nothing too bad, just an extra cycle.
So, exactly how Lanmo's 1 went for him.
At least he's consistent. Hey, did we ever get the bug net? It's not on the
That is a very good question. I don't remember seeing it.
That's probably in GT Basement. I love that GT collection rate for Maniacal, though. 0 out of 27, all the way up. Oh, okay, fine. Ruin it with that 1 rupee.
I mean, if he's going to do that and not open well, okay, he's going to just hover here.
Ooh.
Or he's going to fall.
Well.
That's an interesting strat.
Meanwhile, Trey is almost at Trinex here. So he should be in GT when Maniacal finishes. Maniacal was like, 1 unnecessary chest was enough for me.
I'm disappointed he didn't open it.
I was really hoping to see the perfect 0 of 27 on his compass counter.
Oh, nice double there on the second cycle.
So what are we up to, 4? Oh, I guess that was 5.
Maniacal is now on his way to the Ganon fight as Trey approaches Ganon's tower.
One goes in, the other comes out. Easy enough to get the 1-1 here with Butter Sword. I think we've done enough damage to Ganon.
Alright, just 4 silver arrows now.
Maniacal really getting bodied by some of that fire, but doesn't matter. Ganon explodes. Get your GGs in chat. And Maniacal finishes first with an official race time of 1:54.55. And here's Trey's cool MSU, which we unfortunately didn't get to listen to at all, but we are joined by our winner, Maniacal. GG, buddy. You're muted, by the way.
Yeah, I was software muted. That's great. I saw it only slightly before I heard you remind me. GG to Trey. And thank you.
Yeah, this was quite the seed. You probably don't want to play it again.
No, I don't want to play this one again. I felt like I was on a really good route for a long time. I got the boots a little late. Arguably, I got the flute a little late, but I felt like I was really good about being disciplined with density and that I didn't get, like, giga punished for any single thing other than leaving exactly one check off the mountain at the
well,
very
we were
end.
a little worried about you being late to Flippers in Samaria.
I didn't think they cost me all that much. Like, what did I do where I would have really wanted those things?
Double dip Meyer basically was all it was.
Yeah, but like double dipping Meyer with that situation, like that's not that costly. I could have gotten it, but I mean, Meyer and Meyer area dip is so many more items than North Dark World across, because the plan's then to do Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb and Kern Jump across and get Catfish and do Zora's Domain via Splash Delete and all the nonsense of just sweeping out that whole area. But it just, it felt right to be over in Desert and to just push where the most checks were. Or in Meyer area.
Yeah, and you did need some of those checks out of Desert because, well, like Eastern Big Key and stuff.
Yeah, that was not expected. I didn't expect to get Eastern and Pod Big Keys like that I felt really good about.
Yeah, what's funny is we'd actually seen that earlier from Trey because he went up the mountain without the hook shot. He basically last located Escape early in the game.
That seems reasonable. That Hyrule Castle small key was really early, though, so...
Yeah,
I didn't personally want to do that. Yeah, I did not personally want to do that, and I don't know that I believe in CAC skip in most modes, and this mode especially, but that's okay.
Yeah, it got him a really early flute, but you guys pretty well evened out in terms of when you initially hit Dark World, and then there was big divergence. And The big thing was just that because you did Thieves Town relatively early, even without the small key, you had all the pod small, so you didn't have any incentive to skip pod big chest when you went back in with the big key.
No, it was just it. Overall, I just was thorough where I could be thorough. Basically, pretty much every step. If I was in a place and I could get the things, I was going to get the things. As it was with like Hera Basement and pretty much everything except for the Thieves Town Big Chest, because I was looking at 12 checks in Turtle Rock against 1 in Thieves, and the time balance just didn't make sense on odds. So,
by the way, we've got Trey on the Ganon fight here, so let's see this out and get him in here, and then you can finish the thought and compare notes with him. Though I saw you were doing quite a bit of that in the race room already.
Yeah, we got to catch up a little bit. The delay tends to be pretty good for that when the separation between runners finishing is at all reasonable.
Yeah,
but
I mean that ice rod location, made it not as much of a blowout as it was looking to potentially be. But get your GGs in for Trey, finishing this seed out, still managing a sub-2.
Absolutely.
Just
GG to Trey.
15 seconds, under 2 hours. Well done.
And I imagine it was a full clear for both of us, so...
Oh yeah, your trackers are looking very full right now, except for CT.
And we do have confirmation that the bug net did not turn up.
It's in GT somewhere, or Swamp Big Chest.
Yeah, Swamp Big Chest was like our running joke, because when it was becoming increasingly clear that Thieves Big was the answer, the question was then, is it just gonna be Swamp Big Key and then Maniacal's portal save won't be worth anything?
I don't know. I think you still save the portal there.
Oh, I agree. And at that point you would have just mirrored out anyway, because you would have known you couldn't save the portal. It just would have been crazy.
Yeah. Where was the skull big again? I'm trying to remember. I can't
that
recall.
Was in the desert big chest, I think.
Desert Big Chest.
Yeah.
And Desert Big was... Oh, God.
That was first chest in Swamp.
Oh, that was the first chest Swamp. Okay.
Yeah,
so
the Swamp Small was in the pod big chest.
Yeah.
Which one was in the pod big again?
The Swamp Small.
Swamp Small, that's what it was. Well, I knew some important key was in pod big chest. I couldn't remember which one.
And we are joined by Trey Spire. GG. Sorry about the pod big chest.
GG Trey.
GG. I mean, I had a lot of feelings this seed.
a lot of feelings were felt on both sides.
A lot of feelings were felt after. So I definitely. Oh man, I knew something was going to be in that stupid big chest, and you can interpret that however you want. I mean the thieves one, of course.
Yes, all of the big chests. There were so many relevant big chests in this piece of crap.
There really were. Oh my god. Like, when it got down to I need this thieves small logically to beat this seed, and I have 2 checks left. Well, one of them is the thieves small. It's got to be, and I was starting. When I got the thieves small out of the Skullwood's big chest, I started yelling at my screen that if that was going to be the swamp big, we were going to have words, and they were not going to be pleasant.
Yeah, we were going to be going back through Turtle Rock, and I was going to be incensed.
Well, we had fun watching that race.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
that's my goal, is to entertain, and if you have to ask what am I doing at least once, then we're good.
And so Maniacal, apparently doing the subtraction, there are 13 checks you didn't do outside of GT.
I'm jealous, because mine is 1.
I left a lot of stuff sit on the ground. I left nothing outside of GT but the swamp.
Yeah,
chest.
no, that I think that was the thing.
I guess.
What you guys didn't pick up off the ground because
I didn't get whatever was at the dam. I think there were some heart pieces floating around. There was some stuff. I got everything except for Swamp Big Chest.
Yep, same.
Which seems pretty. Given where the ice rod was, it seems pretty much par for the course. Like if you get the read and get to it, I was really worried because I did put Turtle Rock off until being pretty thorough off the mountain, that it was just going to be in Turtle Rock. And if it was just in Turtle Rock, I would have actually felt worse about it than I did with it being behind the Skullwoods Big to the Thieves Town Big, just because I feel like it's so unlikely that you get through that sequence before you're doing the Back of Thieves. In fact, it may not even be possible. I don't remember. And so, like, I think everyone's isolating the Thieves Big Chest, and that's just one of those gross things that unless you really had some tragedy happen to you and you need to gamble on a low % thing, that everyone's just last locating that. And I felt like...
Go ahead.
I felt like I was thorough, and other than some nonsense with like looping around Swamp left side an extra time because I'm dumb and don't hit the crystal switch, and like a few other small executional blunders, I felt like I played a pretty clean full clear route. So I felt like the Thieves Big Chest was at least putting me in a situation where I had a chance to win, whereas if it was in Turtle Rock, I would have felt worse. I don't know whether it would have worked out for me or not, but I would have felt worse about it.
I definitely went to TR before I went to I went to TR before I went to Thieves.
Yeah, me
for
too.
That exact reason, because I mean Thieves the first time at all.
Oh wow, okay.
Because I was putting off Thieves Town to find the stupid small key first. Because, and this is definitely recency bias, I literally played another seed today. I played a cross keys today.
Oh.
And the Moon Pearl was there.
Lovely.
With the Thieves small key on Lumberjack. So that was very recently in my mind, and I didn't want to deal with that again. I was right. I knew it.
And there was very little that anyone could do about it anyway. Like, even if you knew, it was just gonna get you.
Like, I was contemplating going, like, even without the Swamp Small, going into Swamp and grabbing the first chest because stupider things have happened, and that was just the big key to Desert, which puts you on that train to get the Thieves Small. So, like, if I had just done that, it would have been, then I would have been Swamp Small go, and I don't know if that's better or worse.
It probably is better, honestly.
yeah, I guess, because then you get to go mode Swamp.
I was gonna say, you get to go mode Swamp, and you have your Ice Rod early enough.
Yeah.
But that was a silly, like, 3 or 4 spheres that was just this hyperlinear thing to an item that could be anywhere, and just why?
Yeah.
Well, thanks, generator. I appreciate the great sequence.
Yep. There's a reason I don't roll seeds.
Well, I guess I did this to myself by asking you to roll this one.
You did. It's
Alas.
okay. I stopped warning people. I just do it now. So it's more fun that way.
This was some amount of cursed. Many AD keys seeds or AAD keys seeds are some amount of cursed, and this one was certainly one of them.
Yep. I'm not a fan of AD in general, but it's not the worst mode we have.
At least in this one, we didn't have the
GT double dip.
Exactly, we had all the pendants available. We just got to not double dip GT. It felt good. It's the only saving grace of this.
All the pendants were vanilla too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Were the red and blue ones in the right locations? I didn't even check.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah,
nice.
Sure.
Yeah, we didn't end up with the right crystal break in terms of reds.
Oh yeah,
or
neither
especially
of
in
you
terms of
checked
numbers.
bomb vendor. We don't know what the other 5-6 was besides swamp.
It's either Skullwoods or Ice because I had that at that point.
Then it's Skullwoods because it's Skullwoods or Thieves for me.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Skullwoods.
It's Skullwoods.
Mystery solved.
Yep. We figured it out. Good work, crew.
That reminds me of one other thing that both of you did that I found kind of interesting. When you went up the mountain after doing Hera, choice between Spike and Spiral, you both chose Spike.
Spiral route's better with Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, pretty much. Although I'm mad that the mirror was just on Dark Death Mountain, so you could have just gotten that first and then did Spiral Cave instead of going. I went down Spiral and then walked back. Oh my! There was time.
Yep. There were so many little microaggressions in this seed.
Right.
And that was just one of them.
Oh man.
The Agina boots got me pretty good too.
I walked back out of there and it felt so bad.
I didn't walk back out. I forget exactly what I did, but
you probably wished you had done Agina before Desert, though.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I was definitely suffering some mental damage from that small key on Torch for a while. I was really worried it was going to be my Thieves small, and when it was, I think it was a Turtle Rock small. I think it was the third Turtle Rock small.
Yeah.
I felt very good about what small key ended up being there. I was like, okay, then it just ends up being a time save for me not redipping. And it was sort of the one thing that I was a little aggressive about over the course of the run, where I tried to get it clustered in with some other things in Desert. So I only had 3 Desert dips instead of the 4 that Trey reported.
I read my book 3 times to walk into that dungeon.
Oh, baby. I think I mirrored the last 2, but I did read the book once.
I was determined to show off my literacy.
Well, it got you that half magic a lot earlier.
Yeah, that was nice.
Oh yeah, your moth fights were very different from each other.
Oh.
Something
no.
like that. That was... man, did you have to? Did you really have to go there, Drosy?
Oh no. Oh no.
I mean, at least you got those blue potions first.
Oh yeah, I bought those 2 blue potions, and damn it, I needed them. I went back, I got 3 blues and a green in my bottles right now.
Oh.
I am loaded up.
Definitely not bottles on empty.
No. Well, the crabs were reds, and the 300s were abundant, so...
Yeah. There's
But
so
before-
much money.
I didn't find the early 300s until after I knew about the crabs, so I basically picked up 300 or so rupees from the crabs, and so I just had rupees for days.
Oh. I got my 300 off of Uncle, and I was very excited.
Yeah, I started in Sank and had the crabs before I had any of the tree pulls, because I used the crab in the
yeah.
V.
Yeah.
And so...
This seed really did not want you going under 1,000 rupees.
No, not at all.
No. Nope. Can't do it. I got pretty spendy, though. I got down to like 700 for a while.
Yeah, Blue Link, didn't you say something about one of the runners was at like 1,000 7 minutes in?
Yeah, you were 9 rupees short of 1,000. 7 or 8 minutes in.
I think that was my rupee count.
That was probably you, yeah.
Yeah, I farmed the bush crab on the V of trees, and then the bush crab in the like the hollow tree in the Lost Woods, and got to at least the secondary blue rupee drop on both. So I got lots of reds.
We determined all the health must have been in GT though.
Oh, it has to be.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Because it was ridiculous. Like you guys were somewhere around 8 hearts an hour into the seed. It was crazy.
At least we have blue mail.
That's true. Actually,
The blue mail
Trey,
was pretty nice to find.
Yeah.
Trey, you were on 3 hearts green for quite a bit because it was a bit before you did South Shore.
Yeah, it sure was. And then it sure was, and then I got health and then went to the castle.
Yeah, speaking of hearts, Trey, you were ahead, and then Maniacal kept catching up, but then Trey, you'd get more, and then you open validation chest, and you got the last word. You
That's
won
right.
Heart Race 13 to 12.
That's right.
Ah, the beefiest. I am not the beefiest.
Drosy, I'm sorry that I didn't have a 0 GT.
Yeah, well, I was calling out Maniacal on not having a 0 GT either.
But I can't pass up the opportunity to meme when it shows up.
I mean, Maniacal really wanted the green rupee out of pre-Moldorm chest.
Oh, that's okay. That's better. A single dollar.
Yeah, I would have had 1,192 rupees if not for that at the end of the game, and that might have been a little too close for comfort, so had to pick up some.
Understandable.
But yeah, I don't think there's anything too much for me to say unless there are questions about this one. This one was
It was a time.
it was AAD keys. Enjoy a whole week of this. I'm glad that I don't have to play this one again.
Right.
Yeah, when are your teammates going at it?
Thursday?
Ninjambro and Chloe are racing 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday.
Yeah.
Got it. I see it on the schedule there.
Mhm.
Well, that should be a fun one, too.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Hopefully I can spectate that one.
Yeah.
Well, Barnage can always track again, right?
Yeah, thanks to Barnage for the tracking.
Yeah, once again, shout-outs to our runners. Please give them a follow. Again, Maximum Barnage for doing the tracking here.
Yeah. Thanks, Drosy and Blue Link for the comms. And thanks, Trey, for the race. GG's again.
Yeah, GG's again. Thanks for putting this on. It's always fun to have a restream to show off what we do in League.
Yeah, GG's again to both of you. And I think we're actually going to get you over to the ALTTPR League, where there is an open league race between Verts and Shinmaru going on. Invitational's done for the evening, but we do have a nightcap open race. Other than that, of course, please do check out the schedule. Follow SpeedGaming, SpeedGaming 2 through 7, the ALTTPR League, the ALTTPR League 2 through 4. You know, all those lots of channels. But yeah, any last words, Blue Link?
Well, that was an adventure, and I hope the rest of the week is like this, although maybe not quite as rude for our runners' sake.
Maybe more comfortably sub-2s in the future.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you over for the Open League match.